HRVerse explorers. So get ready to dive into the world of HR with Abdul and me. We are here to sprinkle some HR magic and share some laughters and also explore the mysterious world of HR. So here, buckle up and we'll start with the HR roller coaster. Abdul.
So let's welcome our very first guest, Brajesh Mandal, a seasoned HR leader baked in the corporate oven. We will get to know more about him as the podcast progresses.
So, as it is rightly said, the first are always special. So, we are really thankful to you for being our first guest. How do you feel about this?
Honor is mine. Honor is mine. Of course, it's a good learning experience for me as well, because I have been through many platforms like learning forums, being speaker in many colleges, but podcast is definitely a first experience for me. So thank you so much.
Okay, so there will be 4 segments in our podcast today, and the first segment would be an interview. So, how to judge an HR other than an interview?
I lost touch for interview actually. The last interview I gave was almost 8 years back. I don't know how.
But you take interviews on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know the right answers to all questions.
On the contrary, no. Because in HR there are no right and wrong answers.
Okay.
But we are going ahead with some very basic questions. I think everyone asks them.
So we are going to just start with the most basic question in the HR dictionary. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. So see, my name is Brajesh and I come with a wide range of experience, 15 plus years of experience in all HR functions. Starting from L&D, recruitment, talent acquisition, performance management, HR strategy. So basically, I am an HR business partner. It's been quite some time. I am into this grill, and as you rightly said, that I have been baked well in these 15 years, and this skin tanning is somehow because of that as well. But yes, it's a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful journey, and I learn every day because, as an HR, you wear many hats. While people perceive or imbibe you as a gatekeeper, a payroll processor, or just a rangoli maker kind of a thing. But on the contrary, as an HR, we wear many hats. Like at one moment you're a counselor, we are a counselor. The another moment you're a marketing person selling a offer to a candidate and the employee branding. Then the very next moment you are dealing with labor laws. The next moment you are hand holding somebody through a performance improvement plan. So imagine, so it's never a dull moment for an HR, to be honest.
Rightly said. So as you said, there are multiple hats that you're wearing. So which is your favorite, or like you say that this would be my strongest suit, or you like it the most?
See, as an HR BP, you have the opportunity to wear all the hats. So the role of an HR business partner is to partner with the leadership. Now you can partner with the leadership when you do a lot of things. You do recruitments, you are leading recruitments, you're leading the learning and development, you're learning the performance management. You are also dealing with talents and improving the talent development and require. So I can't really say which hat suit me the best or which hat I love the best. I believe dealing with people is something which I love the most, because that's the most unpredictable asset of any firm. And imagine I tell you a joke today and you laugh out loud. I tell you the same joke tomorrow, you don't laugh. So human behavior is the most unpredictable. But yes, the good thing is that nowadays HR has evolved a lot, and it has evolved long back, to be honest. HR talks a lot on data, and that's the reason why you hire a lot of data analytics, people with strategy, analytical bent of mind, because an evolution of HR from an admin role to an HR strategy has happened only because we deal with data much more than ever before. Now, of course, AI has a lot to play to evolve our job content from a gatekeeper to an HR strategy, to an HR business partner, to be honest.
Okay, so our next question was, if we are supposed to ask 10-year-old Brajesh, what does he aspire to become?
10-year-old Brajesh.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to that guy. I don't want to talk to that.
Why is that?
10-year-old Brajesh, I can't even, fathom. I can't say 10-year-old Brajesh, but being a father of a kid, I mean, of course, he's not 10 yet, but anyone who is younger to me or, elder to me, I prefer to say that just be a good human being first. That's more important. If you do the right thing, is always, if you do the right thing, it's very easy to, fit into any hat. Just keep doing the right thing, being ethical, and doing the things which is, valuable to the society.
Let's not specify the age. If what was your childhood goal to become?
Okay, LOL, doctor.
Okay, it's quite different from what current role you are in.
What I am today. So I am basically not an HR. I am a failed doctor actually. No. That's on a lighter note. I realized I can't become a doctor when I picked up the biology book. That's when I realized that I can't be a doctor.
So how come HR?
That's an interesting question because, to be honest, when I started my career, or rather when I was studying in a B school, HR was my minor specialization. My first major specialization was marketing and international business. I landed up HR, or rather HR landed up on my lap in 2018, an year after I technically started my career. So I started my career in marketing. But over the during that course, when I picked up marketing as my career option, as the first career choice, which was a campus placement for me, I realized that I'm more good with people than the numbers. Of course, with time, I picked up the art of dealing with numbers as well. But that art of dealing with people was the key factor for me to pick up HR as one of my career options.
Great. I think most of the HR enthusiasts would agree on that we choose HR because of our people skills only.
Yeah. And to be honest, no other white collar job has been judged or blamed so much so as HR. So much so that you have to prove your work every day to, prove your worth.
Yes.
And that's a unfortunate thing. While the role of HR has evolved a lot, the jokes is to be more matured. While the role of HR has become more matured and strategic, the jokes has to evolve here.
Correct. Yeah, so since you've been working for more 15 years, just said, in the industry. So what challenges does an HR face in today's world, first of all? And if you could magically solve one common HR challenge, so what would you say you choose?
The joke which I talk about?
Is that
That's one of the... Yes, of course. Even today, not only me, a lot of HR professionals go through that, challenge. So much so that the HR head, the CPOs of big firms, they also go through that. But that's fine. I mean, you have to accept it with a pinch of salt. But the role has evolved. And to be honest, it took a pandemic for the organizations to realize the relevance of HR and put an extra chair in the boardroom for our HR leaders. Imagine.
So was it a blessing in disguise for us?
See, the pandemic did the same thing to CHROs, what the recession in 2008 did to the CEOs. So you can't really say, I mean, yes, it happened, because of the pandemic. Because just because of the pandemic, the organizations started feeling the importance more of the involvement of HR in various strategies, like suddenly you started working from home. This immediate disruption in the work culture or the work environment needs a seamless handholding, and that's when the HR came into picture.
Correct.
Okay, so our next question would be, if you could hire a famous personality, who would it be and why?
Beyond myself,
Yeah.
Okay, this podcast will make me famous though.
We are hoping for the same.
Yeah. Um, famous personality. Can't think of any. I mean,
Any idol you follow or any?
It could be any actor.
Karan Johar.
Karan Johar?
Very good with social media.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Absolute no, fit.
But sometimes his thoughts are a little bit
Controversial.
controversial. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, see, in HR, you're dealing with people. So you're dealing with controversies every time, any which ways. But Karan Johar is that fit.
Nice.
And if you want to have, hire someone more technical, in the HR field, Shah Rukh Khan would be the best fit. He's, I believe, the most technical guy, tech savvy guy in film industry.
Yeah, he's just good with everything. Okay, so now the second most basic question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Okay. Giving my 13th podcast with you guys, or more people like you.
Okay, so our last question, which is the most toughest one, and I believe we all suffer to answer that. Why should we hire you?
Why should you? Who said I want a job with you?
What if some recruiter asks you,
What type of answer should
you
one give?
expect?
See, the answers for a candidate would vary. All right. Now I'll tell you a very simple thing. In any organization, when HR takes the interview or anyone takes the interview, they'll not only look for the most competent technically sound person. They also look for somebody who's a culture fit.
Yes.
All right, because every organization have their own culture. So the absolute significance to hire anyone would be a technically sound person, but a culture fit person.
Okay, so we have to explain why we are a good fit in culture as well.
Absolutely. And anyone who comes for an interview, with me, I would expect that person to do basic research about the firm. And there are so many social media platforms, so many platforms where you can do a basic research about the firm. So if somebody is coming to me and, I ask about, what about the firm, and the person goes blank, that would be the most lamest thing I would come across. So,
Basically, the way you are showing interest in that person's profile or
yep.
Yeah, he should also be reciprocate.
He or she, I don't want to make it a gender specific. Yes, they should always, a candidate should always be well prepared. At least do a basic research about the firm, about the culture. There's so many platforms. You go to Glassdoor, you go to the website, you find the culture about the firm.
So it's not just about the technical skills or everything. They have to answer it in such a way.
It's not because see, वो कहते हैं ना कि एटीट्यूड होना चाहिए, काम तो सिखाई देंगे.
Nice. That is for the listeners. Okay, so here comes the end of our first segment. Now we'll be moving to the second segment. That is the Gen Z knowledge.
Gen Z.
What do you know about Gen Z?
Nothing.
Yeah,
So it's just a test for you.
I'm still exploring the mindset of Gen Z because they're the one who know their rights very well. I'm doubtful if they know their duties very well or not. But nonetheless, there is a lot to learn from the Gen Z, to be honest. A lot, because they are more tech savvy, to be honest. While we are the millennial generation, we have it's the same friction which we faced while dealing with baby boomer generation. With the Gen Z would be but yes, the good thing about millennial generation is they're very adaptable and agile.
Yes.
So we like in our firm we hire a lot of interns. All right, every year there are 2 seasons, winter slots and the summer slots, where we invite a lot of interns in our firm to do a internship and gain a real-time experience. Of course, they are Gen Z. Sometimes it's interesting in a funny way to interact with them, but every time you do a meaningful conversation with them, there is a lot to learn from them. I learn a lot, especially about the technology, about because they come up with very fresh ideas, and those fresh ideas we incorporate in our in our policies in our firms. For example, the recruitment strategy. It's not the same what we used to do 5 years back. Those improvements happen because we do a real time research interaction with the younger generation, the Gen Z generation.
So let's just give you an example. So what's your stance on pajama casual Fridays? Like, would your productivity skyrocket or crash?
Sorry, come again?
Pajama casual Fridays. So do you think it would hamper the productivity?
No. So the dress code of any firm would depend upon the culture. The way I was telling, the culture fit. I work with a law firm, so you can't have a pajama culture there. All right. But on the contrary, if somebody is working with Google or any IT industry, pajama culture is pretty much there. So your dress code typically depends on the overall work culture and the kind of clients you're dealing with. Like, for example, I have worked with Big Four fraternity, KPMG and EY. We were very strict with our dress code. We were not supposed to enter the office without a tie because we are in a tier 1 consulting firm.
So, do you think it needs to change, or is it it is okay?
No, I don't see the reason to change the culture. And culture can't be defined with a dress code, to be honest.
Yes.
I'll just give you an example. In our firm, Lakshmikumaran and Sridharan, we are a tier 1 law firm, all right. Roots from the southern part of India. Many of the leaders of our firm, their dress code is, the traditional attire, but intellectually they are far beyond anyone else. You can fathom about. So dress code does not define
You as a person, or who?
Yes. It's like judging the book by its cover. You can't do that.
But as we said, that Gen Z has entered the corporate world.
Somewhere they have to, even the Gen Z has to have that idea of agile nature to adapt to some of the good things which is happening today.
But do you think the organizations also need to adapt with the Gen Z?
But dress code should come. I don't think dress code is one of those. There are many more parameters where we need to adapt to Gen Z, and that's what I said, that we have improved a lot on our recruitment policies, on the firm policies level, after having a concrete and meaningful conversation with the Gen Zs and taking their feedback.
So basically, these we cannot improve, change all these things.
You can't change everything.
Yeah, so we can keep whatever is going on in a good manner, which is affecting everything in a good perspective, right?
Like if coming to a workplace with a formal attire is hampering your productivity, then of course we can think of hampering the productivity of a mass population. Then of course we can think of changing the dress code policy. But if it is not, then dress code should be the least of the concern.
I think everyone got the answer now.
Okay, so our next question is: what are your views on sending memes on official channels?
Memes on official channels? No, in official channels, the communication has to be as professional as possible because people judge you. It is well said that your words reflects your attitude, your belief, and ecosystem. Language is the dress of your thoughts and beliefs. So you have to be very careful with your communication.
So, but don't you think sometimes it just relieves the mood, the tension in the atmosphere?
Sharing memes doesn't make a person friendly. Having a friendly conversation doesn't necessarily need to share memes or something like that.
I think a lot of Gen Zs would disagree. But yeah, that is the truth, to be honest.
In workplace, the communication needs to be professional enough to earn respect.
Okay, coming on to the next question. So we all hate Mondays. Mondays.
Even I do.
Yeah. So do you have anything in mind, like we could start off a Monday on 12 p.m. instead of in morning 9 or something like that? Any suggestion?
Okay. 12 p.m. It all depends how you have spent your Sunday night. But starting time, yes, these days the workplace, the corporate, the companies, and the organization, they are showing a lot of flexibility, and of course, all thanks to not thanks to pandemic, but yes, pandemic has taught a lot to be flexible. But having a flexible mindset is one thing, but starting your day at 12 noon on a Monday is something else. On the contrary, you can have a bare minimum Monday, the concept of bare minimum Monday, where you just need to just the needful job and leave early to home, something like that. Or spend some time interacting, brainstorming with your team. Have more meetings on Monday so that you interact more rather than just clearing off your unread emails.
That's a good suggestion. But what about those who had a full
Even I love partying on weekends, but I know very few people who party every weekend.
You don't know much Gen Zs then.
Okay. Rather, everyone, not only Gen Z, not confined to Gen Z, even the baby boomers or the millennial generation, they also need to spend some constructive time honing up their technical acumen and overall acumen. And the weekends would be the best time to do so. I mean, imagine I try to pick up a course on labor laws. I don't have the time to do that over the weekdays because a lot there on my plate. So if I have to upskill myself and reinvent and to stay relevant to the Gen Z, then of course I need to upskill my skills, and weekends would be the best time to do so.
Yeah, right. Learning is a process.
Yeah.
That should never stop.
And that's when you do a lot of networking. Because the more, like for example, I'm sitting here in a podcast. It's nothing but a networking on a weekend. This is a constructive time spent over a weekend, right?
Right. Okay, so next we have a slang test. So we'll be calling out few slangs and you have to guess the full form of those.
That
Full
Gen Zs
form
use.
or meaning?
Gen Zs,
Yeah.
Okay.
So first one is YOLO.
YOLO.
Okay.
We
No
can
worries.
give you a hint also if you
Yeah.
want. So what if a Gen Z person puts in an application for leave and says, I am traveling for next week. After all, YOLO, what do you think that means?
I would say who has approved that one weekend?
Okay, so YOLO means you only live once.
That's the slang that Gen Z is using nowadays.
Okay.
You only live.
It was quite a shock.
Okay, next would be
IDK.
You only live once till you're married.
Okay.
The next one is IDK.
IDK.
You know the answer, I think.
IDK? No. Or to be honest, I'm very poor with abbreviation though. But nahi.
I don't know. Many people are using that nowadays. TTYL, you must know.
TTYL.
yeah,
I've heard about it, of course, a lot.
because it's
It's generally used in corporates. Yeah.
It's quite widespread in the corporate culture now. But bhul gaya.
No worries. Talk to you later.
ये तो हस्बैंड वाइफ का ये है यार.
Okay, you must have seen on Teams status BRB.
Be right back.
yeah.
ये तो हम भी यूज करते हैं.
Then FYI.
हाँ? ये तो सबसे ज्यादा ये जेंजी नहीं है, बड़े ज्यादा यूज करते हैं. जितने सीनियर बनते जाओ उतना ज्यादा ये FYI.
अपनी authority बताने के लिए.
अपनी अथॉरिटी FYI.
Yeah.
ये हम ज़्यादा यूज़ करते हैं, जेनजी तो अभी यूज़ करेंगे.
And the last one would be NGL.
NGL नहीं.
It means not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. When someone is being honest, they use an NGL to just emphasize on that. NGL, not gonna lie, that this happened.
OMG.
Everyone certainly knows that one.
Okay, now next we have a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So we'll be giving you a situation and options. You have to
Okay.
select one. I think the first one we already know. So tackling morning HR tasks, coffee or tea?
Coffee. I'm a coffee person.
Okay, remote work, productivity boost or a potential distraction?
Mixed feeling, depending on you're remotely working with whom.
Organization.
I mean, remotely working. I mean,
Okay, who are you with? Okay.
Okay. Next one is for professional networking, LinkedIn or Twitter?
LinkedIn, my favorite.
And formal dress code or casual?
Depends. I love dressing up casual if my firms allow or the business sense allow or not. But yes, formal Monday to Thursday.
Friday.
Business casual on a yeah.
Okay.
Okay, for this one we don't have a option. So your favorite HR tech tool you can't live without?
Tech tool I can't live without.
HR tech tool, like some, yeah.
मेरा तो favorite है. I'll come back to you.
That's like a slang, but any tool that you use frequently in
Yes.
See, HRMS portals are widespread, but every organization they use their own HRMS portal. And there are many consultants who use their own, who offers the HRMS portal in their own way, with their own name. So yes, the HRMS portal which we use in our firm, obviously we can't live without, because that's the Bible of the firm. You have it records the complete employee life cycle of of everyone, start from joining, even for that matter from recruitments to the exit. We have that portal where we actively use it.
ATS, the ATS, applicant tracking system. Yep.
ATS is just a part of it,
Yeah.
because when you deal with the entire employee life cycle, it is way beyond ATS.
There are different portals being
Yes,
used for
yes, yes.
different purposes.
ATS is just a part of it where you're tracking applicants and making the recruitment process more efficient. But the HRMS portal is a whole lot which offers you.
Okay. So the next one would be performance reviews, annual tradition or ongoing process.
Ongoing process is always good. In so much so that we advocate this and we practice in our firm. Every quarter, we do a quarterly review, performance review and data-driven review. Performance reviews should not be subjective, because a lot of unconscious bias, which is deep into your subconscious mind, can just seep through your conversation and your evaluation, which will build a very stereotype and discriminatory workplace. Should be avoided. So the performance management has to be objective and data driven.
So I think in today's HR culture, the data has started taking the lead role, right?
Yes, it has started taking the lead role quite some time back. Ever since I have started my career in 2008, I have been dealing with data.
Like, is it just with the perspective of as an HRVP, or is it involved in other aspects?
No. Even
HR operations.
everywhere you have to deal with data. Offering somebody, I like a candidate, and what I need to offer is also a number game.
Yeah.
Yes. And not only in HR, other domains as well. The data has gained its significance.
Yes. Everywhere data has gained significance, and AI has a lot to do with, a lot importance. I would say
Has been given.
Okay, so our next question is funniest excuse you have heard for being late to work.
Late to work or a leave maybe. Funniest excuse.
बहुत सारे हैं यार, बहुत सारे. Depends on Gen Z.
And
You can give
tell
us
us,
one or two, like more than one you can.
मिलियंस वाले तो बोलते हैं यार बच्चे को स्कूल छोड़ना था, यार वो गैस खत्म हो गई थी, रियल लाइफ प्रॉब्लम्स।
उसमें कुछ बोल भी नहीं सकते।
बोलने को अरे अच्छा गैस खत्म हो गई थी, नहीं बोल सकते हैं कि स्पेयर सिलेंडर रखा करो।
टाइम से निकला करो सुबह।
हाँ, स्कूल के लिए ड्रॉप होना था, घर के पास स्कूल ले लो, इतने सारे स्कूल खुल रहे हैं। बट येस, फ्लैट टायर, ट्रैफिक, उस चक्कर में वी हैव मेड आवर in time more flexible. Unlike the conventional firms
9 to
who
5.
9 to 5 you have to punch in at 9 or else you go for a leave deduction. We are more flexible with the in time.
Okay.
Yes.
How about Gen Z? What is the funniest excuse you have heard?
For a leave maybe.
Oh God, I overslept.
But that is better, no? It is honest.
हाँ? इतना ब्रूटल ऑनेस्ट भी नहीं होना चाहिए।
ज़्यादा ही सच बोल रही हूँ।
ज़्यादा ही सच तो तुम्हें कॉर्पोरेट में नहीं और होना चाहिए।
Okay, so emojis in professional emails, yeah or nay?
Depending on what kind of emojis you're sharing, and it's fine. I mean, if you're see, in a workplace you can have friends.
Yes.
All right, and you can have very good friends. I have very good friends at my workplace, because see, you're spending half your life at your workplace. They are your second family. All right, so if you're very friendly, close to the person, then you can share emojis, but stick or confine it to a professional way. Don't make it too personal.
So basically, we have to maintain that professionalism.
Yes, till the time you are within the wall of the organization, you have to have a very professional approach towards the work, yet friendly. I mean, even you can be friendly with a professional approach to work, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one is one word to describe the ideal company culture.
Diversity, equity, and inclusiveness is the ideal way.
You're going to get more followers on LinkedIn.
No, that's true, because see, there are various research articles, publications where people have advocated the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion at a workplace, because it draws parallel to the company's profitability. But no diversity can sustain without having an inclusive mindset. All right. If you have a diverse culture, but you don't have an inclusive mindset, it would not work out. All right.
Okay, so any suggestions as an HR how you can promote diversity, equity, and inclusion?
It starts from the leadership. It has to have a strong commitment from the leadership, because having a culture of diversity, equity is not diversity in DNI, it's DENI, diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. It requires a strong commitment and dedication from the leadership. It has to, the language has to change, because what you say, the corporate vernacular, that has to improve a lot. It's not about preaching, it's about practicing. A simple example, you get into the room and say, hi guys. It's not inclusiveness. Say hi everyone. Don't make your conversation gender specific. It has to be gender neutral. Hi everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Stop that. Say hi everyone, hello everyone. So the more you make your conversation, interaction, the corporate vernacular, gender neutral, you will see the change, and it has to come from the leadership. Yes, HR has a huge role to play to promote that culture, and that needs a lot of commitment. It's a long journey, but it needs a lot of commitment.
So we can achieve this taking these small steps one by one.
Yes, and the good thing is that corporates are taking baby steps to make this happen. But the key improvement is still the language or the corporate vernacular, to be honest.
Great. So the last question for this round. What, according to you, is the best employee benefit?
पैसा उससे ज़्यादा बेनिफिट क्या हो सकता है?
But like nowadays, Gen Z are like prefer like flexible work hours or like leaves or staycations, like
Something like that.
पैसा फिर भी है पैसा फिर भी number one है no that was on a lighter note though but yes having an agile work environment is paramount in today's workplace and thankfully pandemic has taught us that workplace needs to be more flexible. Anything, I mean, forget about workplace. Anything which is rigid has to break.
Yes.
okay, so now we are coming to the last segment of this podcast, wherein we want you to like throw some light on the aspects of HR that a fresher or like someone who's transitioning to HR should note. Like some word of advice for them, like what should they focus on, what should they do, and what should they avoid. So some advice for the upcoming generation, the youngsters.
And for us also.
For us as well. We are also upcoming.
Okay. For anyone to start with, make a good resume first of all. Because that's the first piece of paper which speaks a lot about you, a lot about me. If I have to pick, if I have to think of picking up a job somewhere, I have to make a good resume. So, I mean, that's a light note, of course. Yeah. But yeah, starting with, making a good, effective, eye-candy resume.
I could just ask you to review my resume after this.
I have many formats lying in my inbox.
Yeah, go on.
See, getting into HR is no rocket science. It's just that you need to be good with people. Because as I said, being in HR, while you're dealing with a lot of data, you're dealing with the most irrational asset of any organization, which is the human behavior. All right. So patience is the key, of course, because you are the unofficial psychiatrist kind of a person in an organization. So you have to be very patient. With many HR, I have, in my 15 years of career, I have come across people in my own profession who are not avid listener. All right. Forget about HR, anything, in any profession, you need to be a good listener first. Only then you will be a good learner. And learning doesn't stop, irrespective of the years of experience. So you have to have that learning ability every day. And the thought of, having a sense of authority is not a good thought. Many HR would have the thought that, since I am the HR, I'm the policy maker, I have the position of authority. I would rather tell rather than asking. No, that's not the right way. You have to be agile. You have to be agile. While as an HRBP or somebody senior in the HR, you have the position of authority. You have to utilize it in a very constructive and sensible way. For starters, of course, resume अच्छा बनाओ. And don't just apply for. First, decide what you want to do. Because there are many gamuts in HR. What is your strength area? You just need to identify that and pick up those profiles in your existing firm or the firms which can offer you.
Thank you so much for your time and such advices. I believe everyone will feel inspired after this podcast.
I hope so.
How did you feel about it?
I am absolutely thrilled. I really hope that I made sense to the questions has been asked and to the viewers, of course. My conversation would make some sense to them.
Yes, we are feeling inspired, and I believe that all other who are watching this will also feel.
And even I am inspired now. YOLO.
Yeah.
Okay, so on this note, we are ending this podcast.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.